Everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Today's guest is just days away from the Boston Pro here in Boston, Massachusetts. Very excited to have him coming here. Please welcome the Jamaican tank, Phll Clahar. How are you, Phil?
Hi, everyone. Hey, Ron. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah. So Boston Pro, we'll get to in a second. The Arnold Classic, a show that I really wish you had been in that show. My goodness. But you watched it, and I'd like to get your take. What was your top five after you watched the judging?
Curry, Bonac, Justin,
Kuklo?
Steve Kukloch, and Samson Dowda.
Okay.
Samson Dowda.
So very, very close to the way it shook out. Yeah. You know, there was some, Giles and I and other people were talking about this too, because that was a show you had applied for, and, you know, they invited a ton of people. They invite all the top Olympians, and they try to get big names, but they didn't have you in the show. And then out of 14 guys, 5 of them ended up dropping out, and some of them were dropping out weeks and weeks ago. And we thought maybe there was time to get you in that show. Did you reach out to them at all to see if you could get on that stage?
No. You know, I firmly believe God works in mysterious ways and everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
George firmly believed that as well. So, you know, karma sucks. I mean, look what happened. You know, you could have had me in the show, definitely would have been much interesting.
Yeah.
Much more interesting, sorry. But, you know, when I hate to say it, I'm going to keep saying it to people here. You want to chase Instagram followers or bringing people with big numbers on Instagram instead of really just looking at the quality of the competitors and the season they had prior and giving those guys a shot, you know, to make a big difference. That's how it goes. So, you know, karma's a bee, man. And when I was sitting back watching, you know, these guys dropping out, which, you know, I mean, I feel very bad for the individuals that could not make it, but, you know, it is what it is, man. But I think that the Arnold was amazing show, man. These guys brought tremendous conditioning, which I have not seen, you know, in the IFBB in some time now. These guys really, really brought it at the Arnold. So I was pretty impressed.
Fair enough. So speaking of your last season, let's recap. These are the 3 shows I was going to talk about: Chicago, Tampa, and Texas. Did you do any other shows last year?
No, those are the 3.
Okay, so let's recap. Chicago was first, I believe. Yes.
Yes. Chicago,
I think you were your second or third call out. They really didn't third call out. And, you know, I was sitting there. I was like, I don't know. I was looking at everyone around me when you got called. I didn't know why it was taking them so long to get you called out. And you ended up taking 11th out of 15th, which was not where I would have had you. I would have had you definitely in the top 6 for sure at that show. But man, you turned it around. Tampa Pro was only, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks later.
I think it was 2 weeks later.
Yeah, 2 weeks later. Totally different situation. I don't know how much you actually changed in weight or condition. You looked so much better to me in just 2 weeks' time. Not only did you get first call out, you almost won that show. You were second to Ian, and it was very, very close. I'm just curious, what changes did you make in those 2 weeks? Because you did look drastically better from what I remember.
I got pissed off. I mean, let's just keep it real. I mean, I know what happened in Chicago. Should have went differently.
Yeah.
I was pissed off. They knew I was pissed off when I was on stage. I made it a point to let them know that. But, you know, I also got to be somewhat respectful at the same time. So the only thing I can do on my part is do what a Jamaican tank can do. So if you feel as though that you got placed a certain way, it's now my job is to now come back better. You know what I mean? So all they did was push me to become better. And that's what I did. I came back tighter and much fuller, when muscles are popping straight from prejudging instead of popping at the night show. So I was always falling behind somewhat, even though I thought I was full enough for the Chicago. But these are the excuses that were given to me, which I think some of them was just a lot of excuses. Yeah. But like I said, it just lit a fire underneath me, and I came back to Tampa for war, and that's just what happened.
Yeah, are you about 6'1", 6'2"?
6 foot.
6 foot. It's all from down here. It's all the same where I am. But what were you on stage at that show? About 280?
250 pounds.
250. You had me fooled, bro. You look a lot bigger than that. I mean, your back alone looks like it weighs 250 pounds. So Tampa, and then Texas Pro was shortly after that. Was it a week later, right?
Yeah, that was a week later.
Okay, that, my goodness, that was a crazy, crazy top three. Honest to God, it could have gone. I think any three of you, Ian, Kuklo, or you, could have won that show. And I don't think there would have been a whole lot of argument because you were all damn good. And you pushed. I would have been happy had any three of you won. You ended up in third behind them, but it wasn't a clear, this guy's first place blows away second place. It was definitely, it had to be splitting hairs, and I would not want to have been a judge. The way that judging was going too, they had you in the middle, they had this guy in the middle, it's Kuklo, Ian in the middle. What was going through your head during all that? Because it was, as a fan, I was confused as to what was going to happen.
I wasn't confused. You know, listen, I came to Texas and I proved another point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could say either here or there where Tampa should have went, or whatever the case may be. Listen, the fans all spoke on Instagram.
Yeah.
And people want to say, you know, oh, well, Phil's fans and Ian's fans and this fans and that fans. Let me tell you something. I had all of 2,000 followers going into Tampa.
Wow.
Okay.
2,000.
My followers rose after Texas because I proved myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So people going to say Phil fans, no, the freaking world were all saying. The only people that were backing the individuals were the individuals' fans, which respectfully do. I understand. But I had people backing me that didn't even know who the hell I was. You know what I'm saying? So I proved the point at Texas. I brought in killer conditioning, way better than Tampa. I'm just trying to figure out what exactly they're looking for. Sometimes it's conditioning, sometimes it's more muscle. I get confused, you know? So I figured I'll go for the gusto. And I came to Texas big because Texas brings it big. And I came with killing conditioning. And no one, I don't want to be disrespectful at all, but neither one of them brought in better condition than me. Neither one of them brought better condition than me. But either way, it went the way it did. Now it struck another fire in my ass.
Yeah, man.
And now we have the Boston Pro coming.
Right.
So now I'm bringing a better and a more improved Phil Clahar. That's why I post no pictures. I don't need nobody to see what I look like and what I'm bringing. Listen, this is like a fight, man. You know, we're warriors. And when you're fighting and you're training and you're in that dungeon, you don't need to be showing your competitors what's coming. I know the fans love it, and that's granted. I'm 47 years old. I'm old school. Back in Ronnie days, that never happened. You know what I mean? As soon as you show up and peel your clothes off, and they're like, oh my good God, you know? So I have something to prove to myself, not really to no one, that no matter what happens, I will continue to improve as long as God continue to bless me with the gifts that I have. And I am very, very excited that I'm going to blow minds away on that Boston stage. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Texas was the best I've ever seen you. Was that the best you feel you've ever looked to?
Texas was the best I've ever looked. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, so you know, you had a little off-season time. I don't know what you would work on. I mean, physique-wise, you're not lacking any body parts. I mean, you've got all the size in the world. What do you work on at this point when you're trying to improve and trying to make that physique one step closer to perfection?
What I worked on, and I took a little bit of you know, some things that Tyler also told me to work on. I brought up the back of my legs from the back shot. So my hamstrings are coming in much thicker, much bigger. Legs overall is coming in bigger. I don't really focus on trying to drive myself to become big. I'm already big. Yeah. So basically what I'm doing is I'm chiseling away an art. You know what I mean? You got to master the art of your physique. Everybody wants to change size and they want to come in fully explosive looking and carved up. And no, I'm coming in with lines, a very, very small waist, a much tighter midsection, bigger legs, and a big round muscle bellies is coming. Everything that George put into play, it just came together perfectly. And I couldn't say I'm more pleased. I mean, I'm exhausted, I'm very tired, but that's how I know I put in the work. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm just driven, man. And I'm just training these last couple of days. Nothing shy away from anything, man. I'm pounding the high reps and really hitting high volume. And I didn't lack off of nothing because it's the week before the show. I want to make sure I leave no stones unturned. I cracked down on my posing. I'm coming ready for war, not a battle. I'm coming for war. Yeah. And all I can say is I just hope everybody just bring what they brought up to Arnold, because I'm bringing something really, really great.
Yeah, I mean, you have said you don't post a lot, and you're not a social media guy. because you are old school and you grew up long before that era where everyone had to show every little thing they did and they needed that little pat on the back every day. You look great. But, you have said that one reason you're so excited about doing this show is because it's a week after the Arnold and they didn't take your invitation. They didn't take your application. They didn't have you on that stage. So this is your chance to stand next to all those guys, or at least the vast majority of them, that you didn't get a chance to last week and show them you should have been on that stage, and you're going to beat a lot of those guys like you would have beaten them in Columbus had you been up there. So that's exciting. That's very exciting. You've said George several times. I don't think everyone realizes you're talking about George Farah, who is your new coach. So George obviously has different methods than a lot of coaches. Tell me about how this prep has been a little bit different, maybe in terms of diet, maybe in terms of cardio, than say the preps the last couple of preps that you did.
It was very, I wouldn't say it was very scientific. I mean, George, everybody knows George's been around for a long time. George Farrell's been around for a very, very long time. He's the best of the best, just like the Neil Hills and all those guys. And he just knows how to use food to one, grow, and also to just burn fat without having to do tremendous amount of cardio. I mean, I can't really even put my finger on it because I've been with a few coaches prior to George, and I've never seen a method this way with the way he used it. And just the safety of just everything, his protocols, everything is safe. And nothing is stressing. My body isn't beat up. I just feel I've never been much stronger and had more energy in the gym. And that could be not doing 2 hours of cardio, but his philosophy and methods is very, very scientific. And, he knows how to give me the proper sayings here and there, but he knows I've been around for a while. I don't need pats on the back. All you got to do is direct me. I'm the easiest person you can coach. Direct me the right way. Tell me that that this can happen if I do this, and I will get it done. I believe in myself, but, to have George Farrell to believe in me the way he has, you got to remember, I've met George Farrell quite a few times a couple of years ago. And I really wish I was in that position at the time to be able to have worked with him, because this would have been a whole different picture by now. I firmly believe that from what I'm already seeing, not even what we're talking, not even 5, 6, 7 months, not even, work with him, the changes he has made, and he gave me the vision of what he believes is going to happen with my structure, my physique, and what I can bring. So, when I met with him again, I ran into him again, me and Patty at the Olympia. We were eating, and we just so happens got sit right next to him. It seems like every time we go somewhere, it could be to Tampa, whatever, for some reason, we always get sit next to George Farrell, just out of the blue. So that could have been a calling, I don't know. But, just sitting with him and, me letting him know what my directions are. I don't have much more time. I probably have a good 3 years. I think I could really push this till I'm 50 because I feel young. I feel energetic and I'm getting better. So I believe as long as I can continue to improve, why stop? As long as my health is in check, which we stay up on that every single year. My heart, we just got that all checked out. Heart is strong, beating well. Blood work all came back good. So all signs of positivity is great. So as long as my body can move forward at the age that I am, I'm very, very happy. So, when I sat down with George and he just basically put the game plan together, and we had a conference call with me and Patty, and we just spoke, and I just put it on the table. I said, listen, I don't got much time. These are the things I need to happen, and I need them to happen sooner than later. And he said, why are we talking? We need to start yesterday. And that was all I needed to hear.
That's awesome. So yeah, your last prep, you told me before we started recording, you were doing 2 hours of cardio every day, which I don't think that can help anybody's leg fullness. That's got to take away from anybody's leg development a little bit. How much cardio did you do for this prep?
We started off at 25 minutes. First it was 20 minutes, 7 days a week. Then we went up to 25 and we concluded at 35. So it was 35 minutes, 7 days a week. 3 weeks out, he dropped it back down to 25 because I was right where I needed to be. Yeah. And then he completely dropped it 2 weeks out.
Yeah. It's funny, you're 47 years old, but you still have very fresh skin. I don't see any wrinkles, any stretch. Well, you wouldn't have stretch marks, but I mean, no torn muscles. a lot of guys by 47, their bodies are already starting to look pretty damn beat up. If even your face doesn't look 47, but I mean, if we just saw the body and you ask people, how old do you think this guy is? I guarantee you, most of them would say 30, 35, something like that at the most. You know, you turned pro what year, Phil?
2017.
Wow. So it's been, you know, you're actually pretty young in the game, young in the sport, as we say. You know, it's not like.
But I've been competing. I've been in the game for a very long time. I started competing in 1999.
Okay.
I won the Florida State in 2008 with Tim Gardner and the overall. The only thing that had delayed me, because at that time back then, you had to be a United States citizen to be able to compete in the nationals. So I had to travel overseas to compete. So that's very difficult, because you gotta understand, in their eyes is, you're only coming over here because you can't get it over there, and they're going to take care of their people before that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I ran into a lot of political type of thing doing it, even though I still end up getting it at the Joe Weider Cup in Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
But you know, I was just looking at everything. Like I laugh too, because I tell a lot of people, with all the money, I can't even tell you the money of flying to Grenada and all these crazy places, and nothing never happened, you know. And then I get my pro card, and all of a sudden you could get pro card anywhere now. You don't got to be a citizen. Oh, I was so pissed, you know.
Oh,
But you know, I've been competing for a long time. A lot of people don't understand that. I've just been in the game. I wasn't pro for a long time, and I took a break in 2009 for 8 years. So
wow.
letting my body rest and not hammer it and pound it and all that good stuff. That's what's leading to the body still staying fresh and young, because you know I was off for 8 years.
Wow.
You know, and then I am blessed with great genetics. I mean, my mom is 66 years old, and we look exactly the same. You couldn't even tell she's 66. So
Wow.
genetically, we age very well. But once again, you have to take care of yourself for longevity.
Yeah, I've met. You know, I don't know if it's just something about the Caribbean and it's the food and the clean air, but you know, there's a local bodybuilder here. He turned pro in Classic, Kurt, and I met his uncle at the Olympia a couple years ago. He's from Trinidad. His uncle was like 72. He had like one little crease here. That was all the wrinkles he had.
Yeah.
Legs, even his legs were still big, veiny, shredded. I'm like, damn, there's something down there. Something about that Caribbean. But I'm curious, did you ever do Caribbean and Central American Championships? Because that's a pro qualifier.
That's what I think I did in Grenada.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I did in Grenada. But listen, you know, I don't really like dwelling in the past and all about that. I'm just happy that where I'm at is where I'm at right now. But just one thing I just want to know, since we're talking about Caribbean, you know, to speak about the late Sean Roden, when he had reached out to me after watching the great performance from last year. And he said, man, I keep telling them about the Jamaican blood. So he said, this is what he's been telling these competitors for a long time, because look at Sean Roden, how he brought that physique and he brought that shape. So you're right. I mean, the Caribbeans, man, you know, it's that blood that we carry, that drive, that line within us, you know. And that was another reason why I was so eager for this year, because believe it or not, like when the conversation I had with George, I said, I'm going to do this not just for myself and the man above, which is number one, but I'm going to come in there and do this for Sean Roden. And that's, I think, pushed me in my training, because we have similar physique and structure, and that pushed me. And the physique I'm going to bring, and I'm going to do my best to cater to some of his poses as much as I possibly can. I'm not going to nail it like him, but I'm going to come and try to represent him as well as I possibly can, because like I said, man, he's a great guy. He reached out to me, and we were supposed to get together and train. And, you know, I was trying to tell him at the Olympia, you know, we got 3 grandkids staying with us, and it's so difficult because we got to juggle things and find people to watch them and try to get away. Is very, very difficult. And then it saddened me when I found that out. So, you know, I'm going to do my best to represent him. I'm going to have his shirt on. I got a picture with him on, me and my wife, and we're going to come and we're going to do our best to represent him as much as possible as well.
Yeah, and you know, just to put it out there, he was still improving at the age of 44 when he won that Olympia. Yes. And I believe he would have continued to get better for a few more years had he been allowed to compete. And unfortunately, we never got to see that again. Yeah, you touched on the grandchildren thing. I think that's interesting that that you and your wife Patty are, it's hard enough for a lot of people just to do this with no other responsibilities other than, maybe they're training clients, but they don't have to deal with kids or anything. You guys have taken on a duty or responsibility. You're taking care of 3 of your grandchildren they're all fairly young, aren't they?
Yes, two, 6 and 9.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Patty really juggles most of the weight, but you know, me dieting and listening to the screaming and the yelling, and especially like these last few weeks, my temper is very shortened, so
Yeah.
she has to do her best to let them understand to calm down. But no, I don't think any pro will be able to handle this, juggle a full-time job and still do what I do. Now, I took the week off, of course, because my main focus always a week before the show is to just focus on the show.
Yeah.
So I took the week off. I'll be in Boston on Wednesday night. We'll be flying up and be there Wednesday night early. But yes, it is very, very hard. But like I said, if I can prosper through all of this and still come to the show on point, then no pro should ever have no excuses why or how come or reason. You know what I mean? But I like, Ron, I like doing it because I'm giving so many people inspiration. Older people reaching out to me, asking me what's the secret. I tell them it's really no secret, man. It's just taking care of yourself, still in good health, and just having God-given genetics. Honestly, that's really what it comes down to, and having that killer drive and mentality. A lot of my motivational stuff I listen to, is all old school stuff where, I'll hear, put the cameras down and delete your Instagram and focus on training. And, if you got time to post up and pose and show what you're lifting in the gym, you ain't preparing for a show. So that's why I'll play around and joke around with the videos off season and all that good stuff. But when I'm cranking down in the guts of the water and in that dungeon, what I mean? And I don't need no justification from nobody, because at the end of the day, the negativity that comes from it, with everybody with their predictions and this and that, sometimes if your mentally isn't straight here, it will affect you and affect your physique when you step on stage. So why not get rid of it? Why not focus on the show and say to hell with Instagram? Because I think a lot of that messes up some of the young competitors with great talent, So that's what I do. I don't need the nonsense. I don't need nobody to pat me on my back and no glorification, because at the end of the day, the judges are making a call, and that's who you have to impress. So
Yeah.
that's just
It's also to your credit that your Instagram isn't even just all about you. It's called Team Clahar.
yeah.
And your wife Patty she's instrumental. I'm sure she's a huge part of making all this possible, because, man, she's got your back. She's in your corner. I mean, I think she's one of those few wives that gets more upset when you don't do as well as you really should have in a show than you.
Yeah. I got to calm her down sometimes. You're right. Yeah.
But that's loyalty, man. When they're that passionate about it, some of them. I've met some wives who they don't even bother going to the contests to watch their husbands.
Yeah.
Really, that's happened. But yeah, I mean, what you guys are a real inspiration, especially with the grandkids and stuff. Because anyone out there who's raised children is watching this, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
And these aren't.
You got to be around all their food they're eating, the pizza. my one grandson Joseph loves to post up with chips and cookies right next to me. But at the end of the day, I can look back at all that with all the hard work and dedication, and you look back, and this is really why you do it. You do it for them because you want to set this role model to them that everything in life is about working hard and striving hard to do your best to do what you can do. So I believe that by them seeing everything that we do for them and watch pop up, which is what they call me when I get ready to compete, and they see my body transform. So whenever they see me with my shirt off in the house, they like sit back, whoa, that's all part of why I do this, man. I love this sport, and I'm going to keep doing it as long as God blesses me to do it. I enjoy it. I don't consider it as a job. It's just something I love and enjoy to do, and just inspire a lot of people and be able to just let everybody know that all things are possible through Christ Jesus. You could do anything you put your mind to. So that's my game plan. And Team Clahar, which is a big team, and George Farrell and Team HD, we're coming, man. And this is going to be a very, very successful and prosperous year.
Yeah. And, another thing that's motivational about you is you never sit there and just mope out. There have been shows. I was at a couple of Tampa Pros, I think, other shows where you were overlooked. They just didn't. You got the second or third call out at some shows where I was like, wow, what about this guy? What about this Phll Clahar guy? Why isn't he out there with this group? And, you know, it's some guys would have retired or some guys would have just gone on social media and ranted and raved about it. But you just came back better and better every time until they had to look at you. They had to put you in that first call. You got so good, they had no choice.
And you know, Ron, a lot of that has to do with with the people that I surround myself with. I mean, I got a lot of great people in my corner. Don't get me wrong. I was frustrated. I was upset. There was plenty of times I wanted out. The Chicago Pro, I was crying in the audience to my wife. It's over. I said, the amount of money I'm spending, I'm not getting anything back. I work very, very hard. You gotta understand, Structured Fitness, which is my company, is who sponsors me, as well as HD. So Structured Fitness is the first sponsor. So my business is what's sponsoring myself and funding me to do and travel and plane tickets and all this stuff on the company standpoint. And then HD now being involved, which is, I'm so happy they're involved because they've done, let me tell you some great things. They sent me a bunch of clothes to stay warm up in Boston. But you know, yeah, I've had a lot of people in my ear, but you know what? I've had people just say, listen, keep working on your craft. Keep showing up in their face, and after a while, they will not be able to deny you. So that's all I've been doing. So every time, all they're doing is making me work harder and harder. And let me tell you, Steve is tough. He is tough, but I love him and I respect him as a judge. And I just keep bringing it and keep bringing it, and I'm going to bring it in Boston. So this is a much more improved Jamaican tank. And people probably going to say, well, how much more better can this guy get? But
Yeah.
I don't even know, man. I'm amazing myself as the years goes on. Everything is surprising me right now.
Well, let's see, because you were away for not 8 years, 9 years, you said, right?
8 years.
8 years. So, and you're 47.
Yeah.
So now you're really 39. Think about it.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, you're not even 40.
That's how I feel. That's 100% how I feel.
Yeah, it's cool because, you know, I've been following the sport since the mid 80s. And I remember back then, if a guy was even 40, he was old. Like, what's that old guy doing up there? That's ridiculous. Albert Beckles, of course, he was an anomaly. That was he was like Dexter Jackson before Dexter Jackson was Dexter Jackson. Right. You know, the guy that was way older and still beating everyone's ass on stage. But, you know, it's guys like Sean Roden, guys like you, guys like Dexter show that, you know, age really is just a number. You don't have to let your body go. You don't have to instantly assume, oh, my legs are going to go away, or I can't improve anymore. I'm too old. You know,
you know, Ron, don't mean to cut you off. That's what a lot of people keep saying. Like, I hear these, you know, everybody broadcasting on their little podcasts and everything. Oh, you know, once you get older, this go, that go. No, let me tell you something. Age has nothing to do with it. You just have to crank down and work on those areas. You know what I mean? My big thing when I first came on board was, got to tighten the waist, you got to tighten the waist, you got to tighten the waist. And I kept doing it year after year, year after year after year. And I'm getting older year after year. And the waist is coming even more tighter than it ever been. So that's not true. When you get older, the legs just start atrophying, they don't grow anymore. Yep. No, it has nothing to do with it. Honestly, tell you the truth, it's your mindset and your work ethic. I don't squat 4 or 5 plates, man. I look at these remarkable young IFBB pros that's squatting all this weight, and that's all great and dandy, but at the end of the day, the damage is doing to your body for the future. You just have to know how to train to be able to use lighter weight to feel like heavier weight. So it's just how you're getting the muscle to contract. So it's just getting to know your body. I got to know my body very well. I know what works and what it takes to grow. And by separate my legs from doing quads, and then 3 days later coming in focus on hamstrings and glutes, it just worked better for me instead of putting them all together. So by separating them, focus on those muscle groups that I need to focus on, and just think about and concentrate about growing and eating. I mean, food is definitely key, and that's what a lot of older people struggle with. The food. If you hear anybody complain, it's about the food. As you get older, it's hard to eat the food. I'm eating that food. My body takes it, and I'm eating.
I'm just curious, how many calories do you take in the off season when you're eating it your most? Do you have any idea?
Honestly, Brian, we don't even count calories, but you know, I mean, the carbs are high. You know, I mean, you're looking at 10 to 12 ounces if it's from fish to chicken. Red meat is very limited. With George, he's not a big, you don't really, and which is good because red meat could just elevate your cholesterol and your creatinine and a lot of different things. but the protein is high, the carbs, we get bananas, fruits. I mean, I ate so much this off season, probably more than I ever did with quality, clean food. And I was like, George, man, I'm not even hungry. He's like, you have to believe in the process. He has this accent. He said, trust me.
I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah, yeah. He says, trust me, just do it. And now I'm seeing everything he says, there's a reason behind it. But I can handle eating the food. I think it's a lot to do with this here and how bad you want it. And I'm just so driven, Ron. Like I said, between you, Giles, and all the support, I mean, you guys were supporting me before. Before nobody even knew who Phll Clahar was, you know what I'm saying? And the support that all you guys give me is just tremendous, man. And I'm just so very grateful for y'all. And that's another thing that pushes me and drives me to keep going and continue to get better. So I just thank you all.
No, you're very welcome. I have to go back to the Instagram thing because people don't listen to me. They always, there's more credibility and they see a physique like this and they're like, oh, well, maybe he's right. I think Instagram is really screwing over this whole generation of young bodybuilders in the sense that they like to film themselves doing these heavy, heavy squats, heavy, heavy deadlifts, everything like super heavy for like 2 reps. And I see a lot of guys who can squat plate, and the legs look like nothing. Whereas, you figured out you don't need to squat 500, 600, 700 pounds. And maybe if you are, it could be holding you back. So I think they're doing it obviously for the attention, for the follows, the likes. It doesn't matter if you have 300,000 followers on a bodybuilding stage. It really doesn't. It's Steve
it doesn't matter. And honestly, tell you the truth, man. And listen, I applaud them though. I mean, these young gentlemen, they're, you got to understand too, like a lot of them, they are sponsored athletes. So that's all they have is to just live in the gym, live, work out and sleep. I don't have that privilege. I got to get up in the morning and go work a real job and put real time in with people's lives in my hands in the fitness business, as well as have athletes that I train and coach that compete, and also normal people that I do online coaching with. So I'm very, very active with juggling what I have to do. But once again, back in the day, that's how these guys, they worked regular jobs, you know what I mean? And they train. And I think what it does is it gives you more of a respect, not just for bodybuilding and yourself. So after bodybuilding is over, you definitely want to have something set up, a safety net outside of bodybuilding. So I applaud them for the time that they're put in. I just believe that, and this is just my personal belief, and it's nothing against any of them, is that I just believe that if you're getting ready for battle and you get ready to step on stage, I think that the only thing, your vision should be very small. And you got to stay focused. And Jay Cutler used to always say that, like somebody could call him with their problems and he just hangs up the phone. You know what I mean? He just has straight tunnel vision. And I think that's how it is. If you want to be successful in this sport, you just got to shut out the noise and don't care about what anybody else think and don't need a pat on your back. You're grown. You're a grown man. You made a choice to do this. Do it, get it done, and get out safe.
You're so busy, you have so much going on with the training, the grandkids, all that. In addition to you got to eat all these meals, you got to get your workouts, you got to do your cardio. You're so used to that hectic level of activity. Would you even, if you had the chance to just be a bodybuilder, just do your training, just eat, take your little naps, would you even like that? Would you even know what to do with yourself all day?
Honestly, no. But I did think about that though. I said to myself, I was telling Pat, I said, if I had the opportunity that some of these great bodybuilders up and coming had, I would be completely, seriously dangerous. Because if I can manage what I'm doing in the gym with the changes I'm making with myself, you let me only have that straight focus on improving, it'll be ridiculous. But once again, God does things for a reason. And I love what I do, and I love helping other people, and I love my job. I love my company. I love my family. I love my fans. I love everything I'm doing. I wouldn't change it for the world, because the success after doing all that I've done, and then I step and I win, is going to be above and beyond anything I can ask for.
I wonder if you would be better. And I only say that because I think you've become so good at time management. You have to be. at this point to be able to do this.
Yeah.
You'd get everything done you need to get done. You work as hard as you need to work. I don't know if you would be any better, because I bet you're doing everything optimally now. You're just able to do that and everything else. Whereas these other guys, mentally, they would break down if they had to work a real job or they had to do anything else. So
Yeah, I mean,
maybe,
I was talking to a while back. I hope he's doing well. Dwayne Walker. I know he had injured himself, but this was way back when he was prepping earlier last year for the show, and we were talking, and he was just telling me how hard it was. He's like, between him focusing on training and then have to train his clients that's living heavy weights, and he got to spot them, and then he has to go. It is very, very hard. It's mentally taxing as well. So yeah, I mean, you just have to have, like I said, everything comes down to a mindset. And my mindset, I really juggle it correctly. I make my own hours. So I have my morning time, then I have 12:30 to about 2, I train, I come home, eat, take a nap, and I'm back to work by 4:30 to about 7:15. So I control my time where I can still get my naps in and still get my sleep in, my rest as a bodybuilder. And I think me, by owning my own company, allowed me to be successful because I organize everything the way, I need it to be.
yeah. Are you still in Land Lakes, Florida?
Yes.
Yeah, Land Lakes was a butter or margarine product.
I think it's cheese. Something like I don't know, butter, cheese, whatever.
It's a lot of dairy products. I just remember.
Yeah, I cut that right out of my thing, man. I just put Tampa, man. Land Lakes, they're like, Land Lakes.
Yeah. Well, as you'll find out, everyone you're going to meet in Boston who lives within 40 miles of Boston just says they're from Boston. Because
Right.
if we all say the little town or city we're from, everyone's like, where's that? So we just say Boston.
Boston,
So,
the main
Tampa.
city.
Phil's from Tampa. Okay.
That's right.
Also, I found out if you're searching for things about Phil, sometimes you have to put Philip with 2 L's. Phil doesn't come up. Isn't that
Get
crazy?
out of here.
Yeah, on the Arnold Sports Festival website, they have athlete profiles with your contest history and stuff.
Mhm.
I put in Phil Clahar, nothing. I'm like, huh. I put in Philip with 1 L, nothing. And I'm like, let me try 2 L's. Boom, there it was. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now you know.
Yeah.
But let's get those Instagram numbers up, everybody. I know he doesn't really need it, but you know what? Give this guy some love. He really deserves it. Team Clahar is rolling into Boston in a couple days, and I'm very excited to have you guys here in my backyard. Hector's driving up tomorrow, I think. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good time, man. It's gonna be a great show. I'm so happy you're gonna be in it, Phil.
Yeah, man, looking forward to it, man. We're coming. The God train is coming, man, and the tank is rolling through. I tell a lot of people, when a tank comes to war, once it gets going, it's just hard to stop a tank while it's moving. So I hope everybody appreciate my hard work and dedication, and I am not disappointing, and I am going to shock a lot of people when I step on stage.
Right on. I want to remind everyone, musculardevelopment.com, we are covering the show. So musculardevelopment.com, Saturday, we'll have contest photos up. We'll have videos, all kinds of stuff, a play-by-play thread on musculardevelopment.com and the Noble forums. You can see Phil and all the other awesome pros are going to be there. So yeah, can't wait. Cannot wait, Phil. I'm so psyched. We've never had a pro show here before. It's been a long time.
I know. I'm very happy. You guys are doing it up too. It's big. They're doing it up. They're doing up real big, man. So
Akon is performing at the show. Akon.
Hey, listen, my family is driving from Jersey.
Wow.
My sisters are, yeah, man. So I mean, that's what I'm trying to tell you, Leon. When my sister asked me, she's like, how you feeling? How you doing? I said, listen, if you can make it to the show, make it. She's like, why? What's going on? I said, history is going to be made. You know what I mean? And she's like, I never heard you speak like that before. I said, and next thing you know, she heard my other sister. I have a lot of sisters. So they're driving up and they want to see Akon and, the whole after party and everything. So yeah, man, we're looking forward to it. But Ron, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, for speaking with me. I want to give a shout out to of course, Team Clahar, George Farrell, HD Muscle, and 9 Line Apparel, and just everybody out there that's helping support me. The go-getters from day one. Was it AJ?
Yeah,
shout out to him.
AJ Kelly, yeah.
Giles, everybody, man. I'm not disappointing. Everybody's so excited. Everybody can't wait. I know some of the athletes that's competing are dying to see pictures. It's not happening. So, it's going to be a competitive show. I'm honored, very, very honored to be in the first Boston show, and looking forward to compete against all these tremendous and great athletes of the IFBB Pro.
And there you have it. Great. I will see you in a few days. It's going to be a good time. Thanks for watching Ronline Report with the Jamaican tank, Phll Clahar. We'll see you next time.
Take care.